audio tracks.
Michael Jordan and Isiah Thomas shared one of the biggest rivalries in sports history during the late 1980s and the early 1990s. One of the biggest stories of NBA All-Star history is when Isiah Thomas conspired with the 1985 Dream Team to limit Jordan's play during the game by not passing to him. He even got other Dream Team players to agree with his plan. This would soon lead to the infamous rivalry of Isiah's Pistons and Jordan's Bulls not far in the future. Hi guys, welcome to True Hoops. It's a new channel that will be delivering you all with the best quality basketball content, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and post notifications bell. We'll have some surprises for early subscribers since we'll be growing fairly quickly, so make sure to subscribe. Let's get straight into the story. It all started before Michael's rookie season. He played for the 1984 Olympic team and won gold, and was the most highly watched rookie and arguably player at the time. In that 84 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles, Michael put on a show in 8 exhibition games, and the spotlight turned on to him. Bobby Knight, the team coach, predicted the future by saying that MJ would be the greatest player that had ever lived.
The 3 or 4 best athletes I've ever seen play basketball, he'd be one of them. I think he's the best athlete I've ever seen play basketball, bar none.
Michael had a stunning college career and a starting role in the Summer Olympics before he had even joined the league, and was dropping a string of 40-point games. Everyone had their eyes on Michael. In only his 3rd regular season game, he dropped a whopping 37 points against one of the league's best defenders, Sidney Moncrief. Everybody knew that this kid was going to be special. And then he single-handedly took the NBA by storm, leading the league in scoring as a rookie with 28.2 points per game.
1-1 if they score. Here's Jordan down the middle all the way.
The Bulls' attendance had doubled in his rookie year because everybody just wanted to see Jordan play. But he wasn't even close to being the best just yet. There was still Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Dr. J, and the lesser star to an extent, Isiah Thomas. They had been fighting for a championship for the last 5 years, and this kid MJ was suddenly more in demand from fans, media, and sponsors than all of them. Obviously, the league stars didn't take it lightly, and there had to be some jealousy involved. But Jordan just wanted the greats to accept him, as back then he wasn't a trash-talking monster, but more humble and innocent. But his plan had backfired when he came overdressed to the pregame festivities for the 1985 All-Star Game in Indianapolis. Also, he was dressed head to toe in Air Jordan apparel, gold necklaces in the dunk contest, and which may have been innocent to a Jordan at the time, but it seemed to upset some of the league's veterans. It portrayed some of the competitive jealousy and hostility that the veterans had for rookie Jordan. His first All-Star game was essentially a privilege. He went into it just wanting to fit in and build good relationship amongst his peers. He tried not to aggravate any of his league stars, but just being who he is was enough for some players to plot against him. What Jordan didn't know at the time was that many of the veterans were noticing all the attention Jordan was getting, and with all the gold chains, Nike apparel, and Jordan shoes, the consensus between them was that he was flexing on them. And obviously, they didn't take this lightly. So a plan was hatched that night before the All-Star game that the league stars at the time would keep the ball away from Jordan. Isiah Thomas would play the biggest role because he at the time was the East point guard, so he would facilitate the ball and make sure that Jordan would not get a decent amount of touches. But Isiah wasn't the only conspirator at this diabolical plan. There was also Magic Johnson and George Gervin, who were said to be evenly involved in this as Isiah. Magic Johnson was from Lansing, Michigan, and George Gervin from Detroit, who have known each other for a long time, and Isiah Thomas played for the Pistons, and all 3 were known to be friends. That 1985 All-Star game wasn't a typical Jordan game at all.
Malone. And the follow-up. Miss again by Jordan. Larry Bird. Malone. 5 chances, I believe.
Scoring only 7 points and grabbing 6 rebounds, but it was easily dismissed at the time as rookie nerves. But when you look at the player stats, it tells a whole different story. In 22 minutes of playing time, Michael just got 9 out of 120 East shots. None of the East starters took fewer than 10 shots. Even 2 of the reserves had 10 or more shots. Once the story came about, Isiah told the press the following day that none of this plotting ever happened and it just wasn't true. Isiah continues to say that he and Michael had a couple of good talks down there. The same day, Michael told the press that, "I don't think it was happening. In an All-Star game, you have to be aggressive and show what you can do. And this being my first All-Star game, I was very tentative. I didn't want to be perceived as a rookie going out there to steal the show. I was just happy to be there." But everybody had a feeling that Jordan knew what was going on, but just kept quiet about it. Since this news came out, there had to be some speculation about it. Rookie Jordan knew that there was a plot against him and marked the day of the Piston and Bulls game in Chicago, the freeze-out revenge game. Michael didn't say a word about the freeze-out to anyone that game, but had a spectacular performance, dropping a 49 points and throwing down some vicious posters.
This one's on number 20. Oh my God! Jordan, who wears 23, just flew at the hole and jammed with 11 seconds to...
But Michael's agent, David Falk, was convinced that not everyone in the league wanted to get along with MJ, solely due to the success he achieved in such a short time in entering the league. The likeliness of this was so high, especially since just off a single shoe deal, MJ had made more than virtually any of these NBA stars' salaries. Sad, but that's the epitome of jealous folk. The same day, sources and newspapers had shared a story that it was a scheme devised to make Jordan look bad on national television. It was said that after the Indianapolis All-Star game ended, Magic Johnson and Isiah Thomas's advisor, Charles Tucker, was speaking openly to a Detroit news reporter at Indianapolis Airport. Tucker had said how good they had got Jordan, but think that they overdid it some. Shortly after midnight, the phone had rang in Chicago hotel room of the Detroit news reporter, and it was Charles Tucker. He said, "You know, the guys weren't serious about doing anything to Jordan. They just had meant they weren't going to go out of their way for him. They never did plan on getting him. It was just that they weren't going to let him do what he wanted to do. They played him hard. He didn't get off. They might have felt like he was being a little bit cocky. But as far as the arrogance, you know how arrogant Isiah can be, and Magic Johnson." Damn, Tucker. Nice try covering your tracks, but it seems a little too late. This phone conversation just proves that the All-Star Game freeze-out was definitely real. In an interview in 1987, Jordan was asked about the freeze-out, and he responded with, "That was the most hurtful thing in my whole career. I didn't see any reason to be cocky, but there was nothing to be cocky about." Jordan continues, "My lawyers had asked me to wear that Nike warm-ups during the dunk contest, and I thought it was normal procedure. It was my first All-Star game, and I didn't know what was going on." In the 1992 All-Star game is where Jordan finally had got his revenge on Isiah Thomas, in the same manner if not worse than how the cards were dealt to him. When the USA Dream Team was about to announce the team on national television, the news is that Jordan had told several personnel that he would not participate on any team that would include Isiah Thomas.
Well, I can't speak for Michael, but no, I did not want him on the team.
Come here, man.
That is the best finish to a perfect revenge story. MJ serving revenge on and off the court.
It became personal with me.
In Michael's Hall of Fame speech, he actually mentions Isiah, Magic, and George Gervin, and the role that they played in instilling that motivation in Michael's heart, ultimately creating that monster that MJ is.
Isiah Thomas, Magic Johnson, George Gervin. Now they say it was a so-called freeze-out in my rookie season. I wouldn't have never guessed, but you guys gave me the motivation to say, you know what? Evidently I haven't proved enough to these guys. I gotta prove to them that I deserve what I've gotten on this level.
And ironically enough, in Michael Jordan's final All-Star game in 2003, Isiah Thomas was the coach, Michael the player, and he did make sure that Michael got a lot of PT. Looks like resentment turned into respect. Isiah did say, "When you look back, probably things that kept us apart are the things that we were very similar at."
Isiah?
Well, you know, Ernie, it's been a while. It's been on my mind, for about, 25 years right now.
Thank you for watching, guys. Hope you learned something new about the undisputed GOAT. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. Until next time, True Hoops out.